These social media morons publicly insulted Mexican cartels, with El Pirata setting the scene for why this is a dumb idea. Born April 2000 in the state of Sinaloa, the pirate was from one of Mexico's most dangerous states. Both his mother and father left him at birth, leading to a difficult life full of alcohol addiction, although ironically this made him a social media superstar. El Pirata had his friend film him drinking from a bottle, pairing it with the aftermath of when it all kicked in. He'd upload it to his YouTube under El Della Red Label, but didn't expect a viewership of over 300,000. Well, when he realized that his excesses were pleasing to the internet, he knew what his shortcut to popularity was: turning his drunkenness into a profession. He'd start posting video after video of his drinking escapades, always pouring the beverage about an inch above his mouth, in the exact same way as his first viral video. This, in combination with his small, strange appearance, made El Pirata so extremely memorable, people began to dedicate public statues to him. He'd therefore expand his social media to include cars and women, which grew his Facebook following to over 1 million and his Instagram to 300,000. Suddenly, he was being paid over $1,000 just to show up at a club for a night, although this would always come with one specific problem. Every time El Pirata drank, he'd become extremely vocal and borderline aggressive, to the extent that he was arrested on more than one occasion. In a 7.6 million view video, translating to "The Pirate Responds to Comments," he spends over 3 minutes simply yelling at his audience, giving the impression that he thought himself invincible. This would be curbed to some extent when he'd hire a social media manager named Beto Sierra, who encouraged El Pirata to give up the drinking to increase the longevity of his life and career. Spanish YouTuber Pepe Garza also confronted El Pirata about his drinking, questioning, "Haven't you started to think that if you drink a lot of alcohol, at one point it can poison you? The human body isn't made for that," to which El Pirata responded immaturely, "People always tell me, my friend, how can you handle so much? I just laugh and tell them, well, I don't know. I don't know how I handle so much," to which Pepe again responds, "Well, I don't like it very much. This is going to get out of control." When he's then asked, "Where do you see yourself in 3 years' time?" El Pirata admits that he wants to get sober and instead would like to have a career in music and leave behind this stage characterized by his drunkenness. "I want to learn to sing now. That will be my motto. I want to be on stage, but singing and putting on a show." Taking steps to make this happen, he'd appear in music videos, which only further added to his image as a drinker, especially with a band member stating, "There are a lot of people who criticize him, but the truth is that's why El Pirata got started, but it would also become the way that El Pirata ended." After yet another heavy drinking session, El Pirata was filmed insulting Mexican cartels, specifically with the phrase "El Mencho suck my wiener." El Mencho's the head of the CJNG, aka Mexico's second most powerful cartel. His capture offers a bounty of $10 million, as he's considered one of Mexico's most dangerous people. Therefore, El Pirata's callout was not a smart thing to say about a man who'll execute your whole family based on not much more than a rumor. He just has zero regard for human life. But what about free speech? It doesn't exist to the cartels, which have been linked to the murder of at least 12 journalists this past year. El Pirata seemed to think very little of his call-out, as on the 18th of December 2017, he went about his day as if it were any other. As the evening drew closer, El Pirata met with Hot Spanish Vlogs and Ben El Gringo, preparing for what was supposed to be another fun night on the town. In fact, El Pirata was having such a good time, he'd post the location of where he was headed, telling his fans to meet him at the bar. However, instead, he'd be met by 4 men driving in a black truck, who assassinated El Pirata only a minute after getting to the bar. The attack was clearly specifically targeted because, as explained by Hot Spanish Vlogs, it's clear they didn't want to hurt me, my friend, or any of the girls, because if they wanted to, they could have done so easily. His funeral was held in the days that followed, with El Pirata's social media manager writing, "We talk so many times about quitting alcohol and living life too fast, but you never listened. And I don't judge, only you knew what you were doing. Those who knew you were a good person. God have you in his glory. Those responsible for his death have never been apprehended, but the CJNG only seems more obvious after exploring the fate of TikToker El Chinito. El Pirata and El Chinito lived in the same city, both having become famous for their goofy vertical videos. El Chinito therefore felt hurt by El Pirata's death, and just 17 days after, would call out the cartel as well. In the 31-second video, El Chinito states, "I don't give a crap about El Mencho," then proceeds to call him stupid and threatens to drive to his city to find him. In case this wasn't dumb enough, El Chinito then announces where he lives, but it would only be after the call out went viral that El Chinito realized he'd made a huge mistake. The following morning, with a blistering hangover, El Chinito apologized. "Excuse me, El Mencho, I was very drunk and wasn't in my senses. I am sorry. My respect to the old man," subsequently disappearing to keep a low profile. Rumors began to circulate that El Chinito had been executed by hired assassins, but this would be disproven by Margarito Music. He'd find El Chinito in his hometown, who instead of dying had rather gotten married, and also had a baby on the way. He now uses his TikTok to document his life, clearly surviving his cartel call-out. I think the apology video saved this guy's life. Illuminati 6, however, wasn't quite so lucky. He gained a following by doing dares on TikTok live, one of which being "I dare you to challenge El Mencho." Well, Illuminati 6 had zero hesitation. "Listen here, you son of a bitch. El Mencho, you can suck my wiener 100%. I don't sleep like El Pirata or El Chinito. I'm immortal, untouchable. I made a pact with the devil. I came to give you fire, Mencho. I'm not scared to say this, I'll say it without the camera. Mencho can suck my balls." The comments rolled in instantly. "This man is already dead, just because they haven't warned him. This little boy has his days numbered. Not even the devil is going to save him." Illuminati 6 quickly realized his mistake and uploaded a second video begging for forgiveness. "I'm sorry for what I said. I was not well. I was wrong. That day I woke up stupid. I didn't look at the consequences. I did that for followers. I apologize. We all make mistakes. Mencho, don't kill me. I have a family just like you," but this only added more exposure to his original cartel call-out. People began to joke, "Play the video of how they kill him. It would be great to see," but I don't think anybody expected that this would actually happen. It has since been theorized that the person in the video is someone else completely, but there's absolutely no confusion in the case of Fofo Marquez. He's best described as the Mexican Dan Bilzerian, although without so many women. His TikTok is dedicated to bragging about money, showing his private jets and driving luxury cars. But Fofo also hides the fact that he's from a mega wealthy family. In case being a Nepo baby isn't already unlikable enough, he refers to himself as Millionaire Boy, making what would happen next all the more satisfying. Fofo planned on doing a prank that would anger his whole city. Drive 3 luxury cars onto a main bridge before parking in the middle of the road to block all lanes of traffic. As he and his friends get out of the cars, Fofo proceeds to state, "We have closed it for ourselves. This is what I want to demonstrate, what money and power can do. We've been here for several minutes. Let's do some TikTok dances. Look, 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 this right here is power. I am the king of Mexico." Fofo put it on his TikTok expecting a positive response, and while it gained 10 million views in under 24 hours, its virality was due to all the wrong reasons. Thank you, Fofo, you are an example for me. It is an inspiration to study and never be like you, but his terrible prank reached further than social media. Mayor Pablo Lemus threatened to bring charges against him for blocking traffic and endangering drivers on the road. After the rebuke, Marquez went back to social media to publicly apologize. He'd state in his apology, "My comments about money and power were perhaps stupid, and I'll happily pay whatever fine I'm given." But the mayor responded to the apology by saying Marquez would have to complete community service, cleaning up below the very bridge he shut down, which Fofo Marquez was more than happy to do until the CJNG got involved. the cartel unexpectedly issued a public statement. As many know or are just learning about, the influencer or scum named Rodolfo Marquez, who dared to close traffic, is an act we do not tolerate. We're the ones in charge of Jalisco and all of Mexico, and to you, Fofo, we tell you to be careful, because we will not let you come thinking you can do whatever you want. Here in Jalisco, Mr. Mencho is in charge. If we see you again, we'll kidnap you, and not even the money you have will help you. Sincerely, CJNG. 6 days later, YouTuber Dominguero met up with Fofo, who was hiding out in his parents' mansion and being protected by 30 security guards. Throughout the interview, Fofo states, rich people are the most intelligent people, only making him even more hated. Rich people are the smartest people, said by a kid who inherited more than half of what he has. Despite Fofo's extreme arrogance, the CJNG never wound up hurting him. However, just 6 months ago, he brutally beat a woman during a traffic conflict in the parking lot of a shopping center. As a result, he's currently in prison, but that's still a better outcome than what happened to Pamela Montenegro. She played a character on YouTube named Nana Polucas, initially posting innocent videos where, for example, she'd interview random shoppers. However, her content slowly made a political shift, interviewing government officials about the problems created by Mexico's cartels. Well, Pamela also owned a restaurant named A Todos Los Santos, around which the cartel began hanging banners, accusing Pamela of colluding with the government. Incredibly, even after this, she continued making her videos and working at the restaurant, although as you might expect, it didn't end well. During one of her shifts in the evening, 2 men walked in and each ordered a beer before shooting Pamela point blank and fleeing the scene immediately. When security officers arrived at the scene after 7 p.m, the 36-year-old woman had already died. A member of the Acapulco cartel was tried for her murder, but was dismissed on the grounds of insufficient evidence, ironically acting as an example of the political corruption she often discussed. In Mexico, you can't even make fun of politics without being murdered now. She was really funny. This is horrible.